Hello, Healthy Living bloggers. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how to set up the Better WP Security plugin. Now, when you install it and look at all the options, you might completely freak out, but don't worry. It's not as complicated as it seems. It just has a lot of options because it basically combines 3 or 4 plugins into one. So this is great for security, and I've already installed it on this site. And all you have to do to get to the dashboard is to click Security down in the left-hand sidebar. And then you're going to create a database backup, so any changes that you make can be undone, and allow this plugin to change the WordPress core files, because that's how it actually fixes everything. And here we are in the dashboard. You'll see that a lot of these items are in red, and that means they're not secure, and they really should be. The blue means that they're not fully secure, but if you change them, they might mess up your site in some way, so you want to change them one by one and then check your site. And we'll go over that in a few minutes. And the orange means that these items are only partially secure, so you want to perhaps make changes to those as well. So right away, once you install the plugin, you'll see that you can do a one-click protection. And this is really easy. All you have to do, click, and a lot of the items turn from red to blue or green. So we're going to go through all of these on the left-hand side and try to turn some of these other items green. Your admin user here. With mine, it's already changed because I never use admin as a username, but if you do use admin as a username, you'll have an option to change it right in here, and it's just easy. It'll take 2 seconds to change. Away mode is great if you're going on vacation, but it's also great if you want to prevent people from hacking into your site in the middle of the night when you know you'll never log into your site. The downside to this is that if you wake up in the middle of the night and want to blog, you'll be locked out of your site. Also, you want to make sure if you do turn this on that your time zone is correct in your WordPress settings here. I'm just going to leave this as it is because I never know when I want to blog and I don't ever want to lock myself out of there. So in this option, the ban users, you can do exactly what it says, ban specific users. If you find people trying to hack into your site often and it's the same IP address, you can put them right in this box here and check this box. I don't have anybody to ban at the moment, so I'm going to leave this blank. Then we'll go to Content Directory. If you already have a site going, which I'm sure most of you do, don't do anything with this. Just leave it as it is. Because if you change the WP content here, all your pictures, all your uploads will change to a different location, and it will be a disaster trying to fix that. So just leave this alone. The reason you would change it is because hackers know that this is a normal WP WordPress folder. So just leave that be for our case. The database backup. You just sent yourself a backup in the beginning of this plugin installation. I get backups from MyFitnessToday and all my sites actually every day. And that's just in case somebody actually breaks through some of these defenses and hacks in. I'll be able to restore all my blog posts. You really don't want to lose that. So this is a great option. So we'll just enable schedule backups here and save changes. Then we'll check out the database prefix. On MyFitnessToday, I changed it. And I do recommend doing this, but make sure you have a backup of your database, which you should have gotten when you installed the plugin in the first place. So I'm going to go right ahead and change the database prefix. And that goes a long way to keeping hackers out, because they know that usual WordPress installations are using a WP underscore table prefix. So that will help a lot. When I installed this plugin, I kept getting messages that somebody was trying to log into my site and they kept getting locked out. So once I got a number of those messages, I went into this hide backend and actually change these URLs. So all you have to do is check this box and save the changes. Now instead of going to yoursite.com/wp-admin, you'll go to yoursite.com/admin or yoursite.com/login. And this will prevent hackers from accessing your site through the usual WP admin login. So right after that, we'll go into intrusion detection. Just keep everything the same on this page and you'll be fine. You don't have to do anything on this page. Limit login attempts. This is a really important thing to enable because most of the time you don't have human hackers trying to get into your site, you have robots. And they can just hammer your site away. It's called a brute force attack. So in order to block those, you have to have this enabled. Just make sure this is checked off. Keep all these settings the same. They're pretty good. And when somebody tries to hack in your site and gets locked out, they'll send you an email and just fill in which email address you'd like that to be sent to and then save the changes. Next, we'll talk about the SSL section, and SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer, and you usually have it on your site when you're taking credit card information or other personal information from customers. And you know if your site has the HTTPS in the address bar. So you do not want to touch this if you don't have the SSL because your site will block you out. So most of us just leave it as it is. If you're sure you have SSL, feel free to make changes if you want. We'll finish up with the system tweaks, which include everything that isn't included in all the other categories. So on this page, we're just going to enable a few of these things, and since they're highlighted in yellow, that means that they could interact with your theme or your plugins or your website in some other way. So after you enable them, you just want to check that they haven't messed around with anything. And if they have, just uncheck them and save your settings and you should be fine. So we're going to check off this box, which prevents people from reading certain files that they shouldn't have access to, such as your configuration file, your installation file, your htaccess file. We want to keep those all from other people. And you don't need to access them online. You can access them through your FTP or file manager or however you want to access them. We're also going to disable directory browsing. So when there isn't an index file in a folder, then people can look at all the files in there. We don't want that to happen. So just check this off. This could interact with your server, so make sure after you're done going through here, again, just take a look at your site, make sure everything's there and okay. We're also going to filter request methods and filter suspicious query strings. When people want to get into your site, sometimes they'll type commands into the address bar up here. We're going to filter all those out and just keep your site secure. So all these other settings are fine. This removes the meta tags from your header. This removes the Windows Live Writer header. You don't need that in your website, and it only makes it a target for hackers. We're going to leave this unchecked because many of us have dealings with Flickr and other third-party services, so we don't want to mess with that too much. As for hide theme updates, hide plugin updates, hide core updates, that's fine. We'll leave all those checked, although most of us don't have other users coming into our blogs, so it doesn't really matter whether or not these are checked. The strong passwords are already checked, and just keep this as administrator. All this is fine. The last things we want to check off are reduce comment spam, remove write permissions from htaccess and wp-config. And that is just about all. After we save these changes, if you go back to the dashboard, you'll see that most of the items that were blue are now, or yellow, are now green. So that's great. You don't have to have everything 100% secure. Just doing the minimum of installing the plugin and clicking on the one-click protection does a lot to help your site's defenses against hackers. So as long as all the red is gone, You're good. And the last thing we're going to look at is this view logs right here. Once you've got this installed, you can actually monitor how many times people try to get into your site in different ways. So everything's 0 here for me because I just installed it on this site, and there's no content here, so there aren't many people coming here anyway. But you'll be able to see your lockouts and actually release people from being locked out if it was a mistake. You'll be able to see how many people encountered a 404 error, which is good because you want to see when people are finding errors on your site. Bad login attempts, so all this stuff is kept in a log, and you can see it here. And that's it. That's all the tweaks we're going to make. It's pretty easy, and it'll take you just about 10 minutes to do, and your site will be better fortified against hackers and other such evildoers. So good luck!